Hi there guys, this is a new video, a very different type of video to one that I've made before. I'm doing a video basically looking at news and reviews for Alton Towers, as I am a massive fan of Alton Towers, and if you guys knew me well, you'd know me and Alton Towers. I lived there practically recently since I got my Merlin pass, so I thought I'd do a little video on the new Alton Towers, the Curse at Alton Manor, as I was a massive fan of Jewel. In fact, I've got my own t-shirt that was made with the Jewel logo. I've got a poster down here. It's backwards for you guys. Upside down. There you go. Jewel, the Haunted House Strikes Back. So I've got that, and I did love Jewel. I did quite like Jewel. I was amongst the small amount that liked Jewel. I did like the theming and different things like that. I did think it was falling down a little bit at the end, but obviously we've got this new ride coming in the next few days, and I thought I'd have a bit of a talk about it. Obviously this is new to me. I've never done videos like this, so bear with, because I will be hopefully doing some vlogs inside Alton Towers this year, my review of the ride, different things like that coming up soon. So straight in, looking at the ride, what do we have to see in these press photos? So please bear in mind, these are press photos. So they're not things that Alton Towers have released to ourselves, but they've released it to the press to pass on to us. So they did want us to see them. So looking at the ride straight away here, if you look at the pre-imagery that they had for the ride, one of the things that they did show off was the Emily Alton above the doll's house like this. Now, it does look quite a bit like that doll's house. So it does look very similar. It looks like the doors are sort of opening, welcoming us in, pushing us through. I sort of remember this part of Jewel. It's sort of one of the second turnings, I think, where you used to go round the corner to go back and swiftly back round, and there was quite a lot of zombies in that corner. I used to get most of my points there, actually. So it looks like a sort of scaled down look. So I think what this is supposed to theme it behind is that we are supposed to be the dolls. We're supposed to be the smaller people. Emily Alton is big and playing with us. So the come play with me is her playing with us, and she's playing with our minds and making us do things. If you look at the sort of colours that you're looking at, it's more of a Victorian kind of theme. You got the old kind of look to the doors. You got some cobwebs up here. A very mini dollhouse up there. So a sort of smaller look, and it's almost like it's potentially towards the start where the doors are opening and you go through. So on to the next photo. This is an interesting one. So I've had a look through this, and there's so many different things hidden in it that I can't get through everything. But one of the big things it says is, my dream house, no one can ever leave. So what you would theme is that it's Emily Alton's house, it's Emily's dream house, and once you're in, you're not getting out. So the theme of the ride would be, you're going in, but you got to wonder how you're getting out. And you've got to get past these different obstacles almost, is what I sort of see from it. There's a few little hints thrown in there. So over here was one of the first things I spotted. You've got the blue steel blade here. So that's a hint back to the blade sort of pirate ship theme that's just round the corner from Jewel itself. And if you look down here, you're also looking at sort of dungeons look, I would say. So they're sort of throwing a few different hints of the old rides out there, the different looks of the rides out there. Down here, you can just about see it. I don't know if I can zoom in. I can't zoom into the photo. But down there, it says 91 Talbot Street. Now, Talbot Street, for those who didn't know, was the old location round the back towards where Walliam's World is, and that's what the street used to be called there. Now, Toys, it was right on that corner where the dungeon used to be, was Toyland Tours. So if you're looking into that, so that's potentially a hint back to Toyland Tours. Now, something that makes me interested in this is I thought that the dungeons might be going soon. Toyland Tours and that road went. Could Blade be going soon? Who knows? It's just very... it's just me talking about it, but who knows? The things that they seem to have in here are things that are gone. So it does seem like that. So then we've also got matchsticks. You've got crayons, stuff like that. So it's looking like kids sort of drawn their own house here. So it's looking a very different theme, in fact, to going back to this. This is looking a lot more professional. It's looking more very well done and almost like a professional dollhouse. And then you're moving on to what Emily sees almost. This is what she's drawn. This is what she did when she was a child. That kind of thing. Also, one final thing I had was there was the naughty corner up there as well. So that could be something. And there's also a saw there that could also link somehow to Ripsaw maybe. That used to be that. Or Saw the ride at Thorpe Park. Then we've got something that might start to make people think the youngsters shouldn't go on the ride as much. Now, as far as we are aware at the moment, it's going to be a ride open to all. It's going to be the same level, like Jules, 0.9 metre for tall. And so you've got to be expecting kids almost to want to go on this ride because it's more kid-friendly. But when you go inside, there is a few little things that I wouldn't describe as kid-friendly. I mean, this here. Plan for my new mummy daddy. No more lies. Something love me. And like a constructed together mum and dad almost, I guess. So it's got a bit of scare there. But to be honest, on the next one, I think that there might be something that is more scary, and when you're on the ride might have a bit more frightened to it. So if you're looking at this, once again we have another few hints to things. So obviously you got the hot water up here, stop valve. I'm wondering maybe we're going to get steam pumped at us there. They said it's going to be very much like that. It's going to have a lot of things to it. Maybe that could be where steam's pumped into us and to obstruct our view. I don't know. And down here we've got another little hint backwards. See, this seems to be a ride where they're just going back in time with things. We've got the Wild Mouse. Now, we had the Alton Mouse back in the day. It was a really old ride. It was an old school ride that now might be done up and might get Project Horizon on it. So who knows? But yeah, there's the Wild Mouse there. Up here, we've got Corkscrew. We all know that one. When you enter Alton Towers, the Corkscrew is there. And UGG Products is also another hint back in time. It's the old Ugland. I think that was where 13 and Rita are, where Ugland used to be. So there's another little hint. So on to the last one. So you've got a bit of a scary one. In fact, up here you've got a few hands and legs and almost like they're constructing a doll. And on the last page I'm going to talk about, so it's the last picture that they've released, we have this. Now, there's a few little things in there that I want to talk about. Number one, here, one of the biggest items, I would say. We've got what potentially is Emily Alton, because you've gone up into the attic, and the story behind this ride is that she was locked up in the attic. Now, I feel like you're going up and you're finally seeing her. And this might be the end of the ride, the last bit of the ride. I think this is the finale of the ride. You've got to assume this is going to come flying out at you. Or something along those lines. It's got to be doing something. Because it's got to be something pretty scary. You can see something hidden up there, actually. I'm not quite sure what, but you can see some sort of fabric hidden up there on a box. So they're not giving much away in this one. What I've also spotted here is I'm pretty sure, now I could be wrong, but that looks very familiar. I think that's the old sign that they used when Jewel closed. when they wrote the date that Jewel was closing on the big screen, on the board, with the chalk. And I think that is the same board. So I think that they're going back. They're showing that they're using things that they were using in Jewel almost. The track is also looking like it's very similar. It looks pretty much the same. I don't think they've done much with that. It's looking like it's not changed much at all. You've also got the spider webs up here, so I'm assuming spiders will have something to do with the ride. Up here you may also have like a mummy. I'm not 100% sure, but that looks like an arm, some legs there, and a head up here. I'm not sure, but that could also be a hint back to a famous Scarefest maze, the attic. So that's another thing that you've got to look at. I also looked back through some videos, and this was also something that was sort of like the attic and was in the attic. So that's another thing that's in there. So the sign says, obviously, "I'll give you a wretched little creature." So it's probably some kind of comments that were made by the parents when they locked her up in the attic with the doll's house, I would guess. And I would say this is something quite an exciting period for us as theme park enthusiasts to get behind. Now, if we just go onto here, we go into the Alton Towers website. If you go down to here, you have the Curse at Alton Manor. New for 2023, the Curse at Alton Manor, a haunting dark ride taking you on a hair-raising journey through the spectacular twists and turns in the cursed manor. The abandoned Alton Manor repossessed under mysterious circumstances by Emily. See, this is the photo that I was on about earlier, where Emily was above and opening up the doll's house. So I think that's almost what they're hinting to at the start. Have your wits about you, uncover the story of Emily Alton, and you ride deeper into the historic manor. She just wants to play. But now when you click on it, so that's all it used to say. And now we've got a little bit more story in regards to it. So I'll just read through the story, and I'll just do that for the ending of this video. So we've got, this once great manor is up for sale. So that's straight away one of the big parts of the story. Almost you think that the parents have moved out and they've left Emily behind, or something along those lines. Then it says, repossessed under mysterious circumstances. You, the visitors, are invited inside. So you assume maybe an open house? You're going in for an open house to try and buy the house? Could be something to do with that. Between the towering trees in the ancient woodland, pass by the many gravestones within the gloomy wood. So Gloomy Wood has not changed its name. We were all just talking about that before. It looks like Gloomy Wood won't be changing its name and will still be Gloomy Wood as you prepare to step into the Gothic home. Steeped in a dark history, laid in rest for over a century. So it's been 100 years since it was last used. Its foreboding exterior draws you inside, but be careful, an evil within is now awakening. So from that, so it wants us to come in. Something wants us in there. You would assume Emily. And then they finally added the last bit. Obviously, we are like 5 days away from opening now, so I assume the last video teaser will be coming out very soon. Potentially in the next few days or on opening day. So then we've got uncover the story of Emily Alton. Left alone in the attic with nothing but her doll's house to keep this quiet but curious girl amused. So there we go, another thing was that I said that she'd be up in the attic, so you assume that is her in the attic with a doll's house. Emily becomes lonely and forgotten, with nothing but the sound of music and laughter of the parties, hosted by her parents of the high of society, echoing through the floors of the ground hall below. Her hatred grew, fueled with frustration and bitterness. Dark forces began to surround Emily, becoming the vessel for evil that has seeped into every corner of the manor. So obviously these are the last pieces of information we're probably going to be given before the ride opens. So that's why I thought I'd make this video. I'd start off a new look to the channel, another additional part to the channel for you guys that enjoy it, and our theme parks. So looking up there, we have obviously the manor from the outside. Obviously, it's sort of portrayed to be in like the gloomy wood area with nothing around it. It's all on its own. Looking in, looks like the grave's gone. You would assume that means the grave's gone. From the top, obviously there was the grave with the zombie coming out with the gun as you used to go into Jewel. That looks like it's gone. From the inside, it looks like she's in a banqueting hall. Wow, I can't speak at the moment. And if you looked back at the videos previously by people, there was videos going into that little like almost open house look in London. Now with that, they were entering these locations, and one of the main locations they went through the fireplace and went round the corner and underneath into the banqueting hall. And the banqueting hall, they picked it up and there was a person underneath. So that was probably the final bit that I would say. So, very exciting period for Alton Towers fans. I'm very excited for the end of this week because I'll be going on Sunday. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, please click a like, comment down below all your thoughts, and hopefully some more will come soon. Bye.